everyone, and welcome to the third week of January. So we're officially at the mid-month point, which I don't know if that means anything. Supposedly the middle of January is called Quitter's Day, but really I think people are holding on to their New Year's resolutions longer until mid-February. So they should really move that date up. People have like more sticking power. And honestly, like if you are thinking about quitting your New Year's resolution, I actually fully support that because you could just declare a new one. Maybe it just wasn't the one that you really wanted. Maybe you were hungover when you made that decision. Maybe you were just feeling overly ambitious or something else. But if you are new here, I am Lisa from Pretty Fabulous, and this is the Monday Motivation Plan With Me sessions. So I will share my slides. If you're listening on, what else can you listen on? You can listen on wherever I put this as a podcast. I will just read everything on the slides. So don't worry if you feel like you're going to miss anything. Now, I did move these. These used to be every day or every Monday at noon, but I had a meeting for my day job that was every Monday at noon or at 9. So I went ahead and moved this because now we have 9 a.m. open. I just figured it was like better to have this at 9 a.m. because then you could like start your day and get it going. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. So this is going to be a podcast every single Monday. It is going to be just something to help you like kick off your week, get organized, get situated. There is a free workbook that goes with this. We are going to be quick and snappy, or I'll try to be as quick as I can. Obviously, I like talking, which is perfect if you're a podcast listener, which is why I've expanded out to podcast as another format for this year. So I said it's available on iHeart. I'm having some like technical issues on iHeart for some reason, but I did put the other podcast, the Cozy Mystery Mingle podcast, that is available on every platform. And I think maybe it's because it's the same, email address. I don't know. iHeartRadio keeps giving me an error message that the email address is wrong. Now, I did submit a ticket to them. However, it is a 3-day weekend, so I suspect they'll get back to me next week. Now, if you've never been here before for Monday Motivation, what we usually do is we recap last week. We actually talk about our one goal for the month. So that is we'll talk about this. I think everyone should have a strategy on how they want to go about completing goals or getting stuff done. And for me, it's always been just single focus has always been better. So I always say you should do what's called the doable dozen. And just pick out one goal for every month. And you know what? If you finish it earlier than you thought you would, great for you. And then just start on your next goal. And maybe you have 2 things that you finish for 1 month or 3 or 4. But if you just do one at a time, I think you're just going to be so much better and get so much more done. So then we're going to talk about any tools that you need to get things done, because most likely the goals that you want to do, sometimes it's just a matter of carving out time, but other times maybe you just need some extra help, coaching, mentoring, a course, or maybe you just need to get some quiet time or something away from wherever your normal schedule is. So that's what we're doing. Hopefully these are helping you. These actually help me a lot. I used to only do this for December and January, mostly because December is my favorite month of the year. And January, everyone's always excited to like get more things done. But I do find that I get more things done because it's almost like accountability, like I have to report out on what I've done. Anyways, there's a link below for the workbook. It's the same workbook for the whole month. So that's how we'll do it. Every month you'll get a new workbook. It will be free, whether in Planner Pixies or not. And then in there, they'll have links for everything. The only thing that's going to change is the Canva 101. I was going to do that the last Monday. I'm thinking I might change the schedule. We'll see. We'll just wait till we get a little closer to that. Now, if you're not in the U.S., today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that is actually pretty significant. So I'm Generation X, so I honestly don't even remember, because I was in school, I don't remember a day before it was not a holiday, but it only became a holiday in 1983. It is always the third Monday of every January. And it's pretty significant because the only other person in all of the US federal holidays who has a holiday for their birthday is Jesus. Like for Christmas, that is it. And if you are in Illinois, which is where I grew up, we get Casimir Pulaski Day, which is I believe it's in March or April. I thought everybody, until I got to college, got Casimir Pulaski Day off. I thought it was a national holiday, but apparently it's only popular in places where they have a large Polish community, like Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa. I think maybe that's it. So anyways, that is Martin Luther King. Also, if you have not heard the Elvis song, the Dream Song, it was, I think he wrote it like, again, I've seen so many Elvis movies. I'm confused on the details because some of them are real, some of them are fake. It's hard to tell what's going on, but the latest Elvis movie, or I say one of the latest, I think there was another Priscilla movie that came out right after, I think it was after Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. So he came out with this song. So it kind of uses some of the lyrics from Martin Luther King. I really like the song. Just suggesting it out there as a listen if you are someone who just was trying to get into the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So the Lisa method is also, so that is a separate workbook, the Speedy Goals method. And yes, I made an acronym out of my own name. And so L is just to list out all of your goals, identify your one thing, schedule it into your month, and then actively inspire yourself and axe anything that doesn't fit. And then I also came up with another acronym, Speedy Goals. And I really am very excited because it took me, I would say, probably like 5 or 6 years to like really figure this out. But this is kind of what works for me. And I would suggest trying it, see if it works for you. Speedy is just, S is for strategy. Like I said, mine is the doable dozen. P is for planning. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then E is for execution. I'm a huge fan of the Clifton strengths. So we always go over like any execution strengths that you have in your top 10, just try to amplify those. And then ensure you have a clean desk policy. I can't emphasize, I really just think clutter is bringing everybody down and making people just feel like they're overwhelmed all the time. And then list out all your deliverables. And of course, Y is for your reward, which mine is usually always ice cream. And this is available to you also as an extra workbook, and that it's free, and that is in the description below as well. All right, so what's your 1 January goal? So if you open up your workbook, you want to, one, hopefully remember what was your 1 January goal. And this is also a really great time for you to change your mind and have a new goal. That is totally acceptable. And my goal was website migration. Migrating from WordPress to Squarespace, which I did, but I didn't really. Like, I kind of migrated stuff over. The website's broken. There's dead links. There's things that don't make sense on there because I really didn't spend any time on it. So what did I do instead this month? I did podcast marketing. So it took me like a millisecond to set up the podcast and actually schedule guests. But it's also a video podcast because I like YouTube, and I wanted people to show up live for the authors, and I really underestimated how much time it would take to market those things. So that takes up like 90% of my time, just making each of those graphics, sending emails out, posting it on social media. I think it'll be easier, and I can probably outsource that like once I get a rhythm going. But right now it took up like pretty much the whole week and like reminding people. So I'm going to give all marketing a break for the rest of this month. So if people don't show up to the future author live streams and they just don't show up, it's like taking up so much of my time. I can't really get anything else done. So podcasts are set. And because of that, though, I was going to have guests on this channel on Thursdays. So last Thursday, I did just myself talking about learning. And so I think because this took up so much time, I'm just going to wait until February to invite anyone else onto this channel or this podcast until I like get a rhythm going and figure out, like, do I really have time to do marketing, or can I outsource that, or how will that work? So Molly and I still have 6 slots open. We took all last week off. She was on vacation. So, it's a partnership. So I went on vacation too and did nothing. So, early bird pricing ends this month. We were going to have it end this week. It was just a little crazy to do with her traveling and everything else. So we are going to have that sneak peek session on the last Monday of the month on January 29th. I don't know what it's going to be in there because we haven't made slides. So Molly has, which isn't a big deal, but she has children. So, I don't have kids, so I can just like do my schedule whenever. So we try to do it so that she can fully concentrate on the slides. And so like every other Monday is like what works out best for her baby care schedule. But it is still scheduled for April 9th through the 11th. We're still very excited. I think it's going to be really fun. So January goal refocus. So this is just me reporting and just kind of confessing I did nothing, as I already said. I had shiny object syndrome with the podcast. Those weren't even a goal for the year. As you know, I don't even like podcasts. So again, all of the work, that's why I said I'm not going to do any marketing on the podcast, like whatever. If people show up, they do. And if they don't, whatever, I just need to get this website done because this was a goal that I had last year this time. And I didn't get that done either because I had shiny object syndrome. So I'm going to refocus. And I did not write this weekend either. So I wrote just a little bit, but mostly because I was just making all these graphics. And they really, like, when you look at them, they're not that complicated and they were pretty easy to make, but like finding the graphics, asking the authors for the headshot, getting their okay, finding the cover, moving things around, resizing it for Instagram, resizing it for Facebook. So I don't know. And then putting the event out. So it's not a lot of work. In fact, it's just kind of like busy work. But it's enough work where I was like, that's all I did for the weekend. Plus, like when you do a podcast, you usually send the interviewer some discussion questions ahead of time. So I had to, I don't want to say read the books, but I had to like really look at their books and their other books and their biography and everything to ask like good, meaningful questions. So that also took up some time as well. So that's why my weekend, I was planning to just write for the weekends and I still want to. Anyways, I did do an extra podcast, like I said, last Thursday, because I didn't have any guests. So I was like, I'll just do them on my own. We went through learning. And so with learning, like I said, Canva 101 is like done. I just really need to like have time to focus. And I could do that, but then I wouldn't be able to work on the website. So that's why I'm saying Canva 101 definitely scheduled for January 31st. But I shouldn't say definitely. It is like tentatively scheduled for January 31st. So I can like fit it in this month to say I got it done for January. But if the website still isn't done or it takes more time than I thought, then I will just push that back. Because usually what I do is what I did all of 2023 was I kept pushing Squarespace back and I was like, oh, it's too hard. Let me look at another platform. Let me just not do that. So I'm not going to do that this time. So I'm going to push everything else off. We also did Sticker Camp refresh on Friday. So again, I obviously like going live way more than is normal. So that's why I am excited to do all the things I did last week. These aren't complaints. But because of that, you can only do so many things at once. So that's what happens. So anyways, this workshop, if you are in Planner Pixies, is up and waiting for you inside of Thrivecart. So Sticker Camp, I just added another module inside of there called Sticker Camp Refresh that has the video and it has the slides. So you should be all good. Oh, Notability. I don't know if anyone, I feel like I did a video on Notability, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I just imagined it, but I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, so when I have PDFs, I don't know if you do, but I get PDF downloads, whether it's an ebook or it's a lead magnet or it is a workbook or something else. Usually there's PDFs of things that I want to keep and reference later. When I have used Procreate or GoodNotes or anything like that, it's really hard to organize them. I don't like the system, but I really like Notability's organizational system. And it's just a smaller nuance. On the left, you have just a list of the files that you are working on. And in the middle, you can open up the files, or like 3/4 of the screen then is the file. So I can put things in folders. It's just more intuitive for me than using any other app. So this is going up to $14.99 a year. I'm going to go ahead and pay it. I think it's totally worth it. In case you are someone who's like, I really want to be able to access PDFs whenever. I used to print, I don't know if anyone remembers, so my huge rack, I'm looking in my kitchen, you can't see it, but I have a pantry, those restaurant metal grates that have like shelves lined up of, whatever food or containers you can store on those. I used to store binders of PDFs. I would take every PDF I got, I'd print it out, I'd double print it, and I'd make sure it was color because I like looking at things in color, which probably was way more expensive for the ink, especially because I have toner, a laser jet instead of an inkjet. And then I would buy separate notebooks for all the different subjects. And so I was like, I just really want paper so I can like pull something off the shelf and reference it. So anyways, I have, as you know, tried to go paperless. And because of that, Again, the $14.99, it seems like a lot, but it's really no big deal compared to like all those binders I bought were at least $3 at the lowest and possibly 20 or 25 at the highest, because I saw some of those cute notebook or binders that you could get on Zazzle, and they have metallic or they have a cute design or you could customize them, and then I'm paying for shipping. It was like out of control with the paper. So that's why I just wanted to make note of this in case you were like, oh, I'd really like a way to organize my PDFs, because like going paperless is one thing, but going paperless and having an organized system for it that's not just in Google Docs in case you want to use your iPad is a totally other thing. Now, Notability only works for iPad, and it does work on your desktop, but it's like they're mutually exclusive. Even though it's one account, you can't see any of the files from one to the other. You'd have to recreate the whole thing. So that is one flaw in their design. So what did I buy this week? So while I was looking at my iPad, I bought the AstroPad. Now, I do think that the pen experience using my Samsung tablet is far superior to using the Apple Pencil. I just don't like the rubber tip. It's just not very I don't like it. So everybody has been talking about the ballpoint, the metal tips. I don't know why I've never gotten one. So I got the AstroPad deal. Right now I have the Paperlike, which is, I think it's like 55 or 60. It's something ridiculous like that. And since then they've come out with tons of other ones for like $7 that work just as great. And my Paperlike one is falling off anyway. It's been like 3 years. So I'm just going to rip it off. And when the AstroPad gets here, I will get it. Now, if you were thinking about getting this, 100% just buy it on Amazon. Do not buy it directly from AstroPad. I don't know. I was going to buy it from AstroPad, and you get exactly the same thing. I don't know why anyone would buy it directly from them, but you had to pay it with the taxes. They had fees, they had shipping. And not only that, the AstroPad will be here tomorrow. I ordered it yesterday and on Amazon, versus when I was on their website, it won't get here till like mid-February or something ridiculous like that. So anyways, I will report back. I'll do an unboxing for you. I'll report back on how it is. And yeah, it might be the thing to use. I was like doing a couple videos online, like reviews. Everyone loves it. They said it was like the thing to get. Just so you know, when you get there too, AstroPad, don't be confused. AstroPad has this, I want to say like a dongle that you can install into your iPad that will then let you mimic whatever is on Microsoft Windows computer onto your AstroPad to like use it as a separate display. I don't know why you would do that. I don't think there's any advantage to that. So I would warn you against buying that just because they're two different operating. I don't know. Like, I think people are trying to use the power of like having a touch screen with a pen for Windows, but I would say skip it. I also made the decision, who knows, I might change because I really haven't gotten into this, but I did make the decision to go with Adobe Fresco instead of Procreate as I was looking at learning and all of the courses that I purchased. And unfortunately, I have purchased a lot of Procreate. Tons of Procreate courses, and I have tons of Procreate brushes. But honestly, like, it gets confusing trying to load all the brushes. And this guy made a really great point. So he basically just woke up one day, as far as I can tell, and just decided to be a digital illustrator. And he switched over from Procreate to Fresco about a year ago. And so here were the main reasons that I thought were valuable in case you were thinking about doing digital illustration too, is one, you can create vector art, which didn't seem like a big deal to me, but maybe it's just a good option to have. Plus it has vector brushes, which the way I understand it is you stretch things out. Again, they just look better. Possibly, you never know where your art could be used. You can also save files to the cloud. So this is something I didn't realize. So in Procreate right now, when I open up my iPad, I see everything I've worked on. And it was getting cluttered when I was like experimenting and just trying to draw stuff. So when he switched over from one iPad to the next, when he upgraded, he said he lost all of his Procreate files, right? But then the next time he did that, he like knew to save them, but all the Procreate files were saved as whatever, like he just didn't put names in there. And it was hard to organize them and sort them. So again, it's kind of like how I don't like the PDF inside of Procreate as a repository or GoodNotes. They're just kind of all a mess. So he said with the ability to use Adobe Cloud Storage, it was just much easier. And I do have a file folder structure in Adobe Cloud, and you get, I think it's like 100 megabytes with your like Creative Cloud membership. So I'm going to try that. And you can also export these easily into Illustrator and Photoshop. And I was wanting to learn Illustrator. I do know how to use Photoshop, so I feel like this will be easier, because when I was doing those cards for the, I don't know if anyone remembers, it took me 2.5 years to make these Asian tarot cards. So during that 2.5 years, I could do only so much in Procreate, and then I would export it into Photoshop because I just knew how to use Photoshop better. So it sounds like this is more of a seamless process to go from Fresco to Illustrator and back and forth. I could be wrong, but anyways, it just sounds like it would be a better path to learn Fresco instead of Procreate. And he did mention too, if you looked at Adobe Fresco a few years ago, like 2 years ago, it kind of sucked. And then since then, it's actually gotten better. So if you initially looked at other reports, I think this is what happened to me too. I looked at other reviews. Everyone was like, Fresco kind of sucks. It's kind of lame. Procreate is way better. Well, it's improved vastly since then. And I always thought like maybe Adobe will buy Procreate, but with the Adobe failed purchase of Figma, they probably won't buy anything. So it sounds like they might just invest more in Fresco. And then there was, I thought I had another slide. So this guy over here on the left, the bald guy, creating a compelling animated illustration in Adobe Fresco. So these are the courses that I signed up for in Fresco that I bought in, what was it? I mentioned during the learning, Domestika with a K. So this guy over here is the one that created all of the brushes for Adobe Fresco. So he had like the best in-depth knowledge of tutorials. He really knew what he was doing. He did a really great walkthrough. So anyways, if you could only buy one course, I would buy that. And even then, I think the courses are, if you buy like so many, I think they're only like $9.99 each. So that's my report for the week. So that's what happened last week. So see, I was saying it's so much better to do these weekly Monday motivations because I get more done, because I'm like, I need to have more stuff to report on. Anyways, like I said, if you want to be a quitter, that is okay, because maybe you just aren't committed to your goal because it's really not that important, or it's not something you want to work on. Or again, it was like me with the podcast. Maybe you're just super excited about something else, and that's okay as well. So maybe just change your goal for January instead of like being upset about it, right? It's kind of like, I read, was it Abby Connick? She's another illustrator I follow, and she said on an email this morning, she's like, yeah, I tried 75 hard and it didn't really work for me. So I just changed the rules to what would work for me, and now it works great. So you should just change the rules of anything so it works out well for you. Any tools? I do need to watch some tutorials on Squarespace, and I need to take notes, because I'm finding that because over the last, I think it's like 2 years, I've been trying to do this. I've been watching the same tutorials over and over again, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So I'm not taking any notes. So luckily I have 2 monitors, but even if you don't, you could have a piece of paper, or you could have something, split your screen, or have an iPad or your phone or something else, and just start taking notes on things that you think might be important. So then when you do a control find, you can find it later instead of actually having to rewatch all of those videos over and over and over again. And I just realized I'm so rude. I didn't say hi to anyone who's here. Hi, Shelly. And Jesse. And whoops. And who else? Karen's here. And Tasha's here. And Jesse. Where are the free extra downloads? I download the January workbook, which is only 6 pages, but I need help locating the rest of the free downloads mentioned. Do you know if I misunderstood? There is a download. Can anyone add the download? It might not be in the description. I'll add it as soon as we're done. For Speedy Goals. That's the only other freebie that I have right now. So Speedy Goals, I will definitely add that if I forgot. Okay. What else do we have? So what does your week look like? So hopefully you have today off as a holiday. Either way, we're starting a little earlier, so you should feel like you got some more extra time to like get things done. But if you have things like non-negotiable things that you can't move things around, like just put those in your schedule so you know to work around those, or any other deliverables that you have maybe for your day job, or for another project or something else. Again, I like to put everything into ClickUp. This is my new digital paperless method of anything and everything. And then the very morning of, I don't try to plan it out the night before or anything like that. I just wait till I wake up in the morning. I'm sitting at my computer. I put in exactly what I need to work on that day. And then the Llama Life will tell me how much time it's going to take and realistically if I can get it all done in that one day. So this is what my priorities look like for this week. So for you want to do the same thing. Look at your week, plan out times you can work on stuff. And again, I just plan out working time and then I just look at what's in Llama Life instead of trying to put each task into my schedule. But mine is all just the same stuff I had last week for website, writing, and then that's it. And then I think Molly and I are meeting right after this to make slides, but that's it. So because like I said, she can only meet every other Monday. So we're going to do the slides today because that's her one day to like get any work done. And then in 2 weeks, she has some time to get some work done. And then we'll do our live stream. And then in 2 more weeks after that, we'll go back to our regular, we were doing live streams on that channel for Cozy Mystery Writers on different craft topics. So we'll go back to that in 2 weeks again after she is, I guess, able to. So that's our schedule. I think this is it. Do I have anything? Oh, stretch goals. I just said no stretch goals because it'll overwhelm me. It's crazy to think like, because I'm so behind, I can do any stretch goals. So this is what you should do now. So one, you should do the last week recap. You should revisit your 1 January goal. Again, you can quit. You should determine what tools you required and then plan out your week. And I thought I'd end with a quote for every Monday, which is, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. And this is from Picasso. So go ahead, get out there, get some work done. I will add that link for you, Jesse. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful and fabulous start to their week. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.